Guys, what is going on? My name is Joe, aka Cap,
I'm Dom, not Stereo.
Got Bash.
And I'm Francis.
and this is The Push. And we are back, folks. We have had quite the fucking week in wrestling. let me tell you.
That's an understatement.
It has been a period of time where we've almost had a bit of news happening every single day. We do want to start off the show real quick with a bit of a somber note. We did mention it on our TikTok, but I do want to bring it up here just to remind everybody that we are keeping the family of Sika and Hawaii in our thoughts and prayers at this moment. He was pronounced dead yesterday at the age of 78. Sika, one half of the WWE Hall of Famers, the Wild Samoans, and father of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So, we do want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers right now. We do hope the best for, for the Hawaii family right now. At least we do want to wish them the best right now. Anyway, moving on to something much happier, though.
Sika, you were one of the real ones.
Absolutely, man. Anyway, moving on to something much happier. Last Monday was the long-awaited debut of the Wyatt 6. The Wyatt 6, which, by the way, last week brought in over 2 million viewers. Monday Night Raw did. Over 2 million viewers tuned in. And a big reason for that would be the hopeful debut of the Wyatt 6. And to give us his take on the Wyatt 6 debut, Dom, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this one, man. What did you think?
Thank you. Yeah, who would have thought telling people exactly when they were going to debut would have been the key to a rating spike. But in all seriousness, the Wyatt 6 debuted last Monday. And, the same night we were recording, so unfortunately we didn't get to discuss it too much. But
Sadly, no.
Holy hell, was that a killer debut. It was cinematic, it was eerie, it was creepy, it looked like it was something out of like a straight up horror movie.
Chad Gable died, we all thought.
Chad Gable died and resurrected in the span of a week, so
Yeah, Triple H just had those Dragon Balls and on
yeah,
the
he
deck,
couldn't let him go yet. But in all seriousness, the last week on the podcast we had said that the debut needed to be perfection, and by God, it was.
It was damn close.
I couldn't think of a single thing that they could have done better. Like the presentation of the members of the Wyatt 6 was absolutely phenomenal. From seeing Nikki Cross doing her thing, being all creepy, going back to like what she used to be back in the Sanity days.
I'm not the only one who remembers that.
Yeah. No, well, that's when I found Nikki Cross. That's when I really liked her as a character. Just her being a crazy psycho was awesome. But so her being the Abby the Witch character, being like kind of the one that started it off. From then, they moved backstage. We got to see Eric Rowan, and he was the Ramblin' Rabbit character, so that was like kind of interesting to see. But one thing I did notice with Eric Rowan, there was a couple of Easter eggs to Bray in his costume. Before he turned around, you could see Bray Wyatt's old logo, like the old Buzzard Lantern logo that he used to have, which was really cool. It was a very blink and you miss it moment. So if you watch it back, keep an eye on it.
There's actually one more that I wanted to point out as well, because it wasn't just...
there was a couple.
Yeah, it wasn't just Bray.
Yeah, he had the hammer from his days with the Bludgeon Brothers, and also on the back of his head, he had Luke Harper's mask from the Bludgeon Brothers, the old deer skull mask.
Holy shit, I actually didn't even notice that one. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was another blink and you miss it moment, because he turns around very quickly. But so he had like two little nods to Luke Harper, another member of the Wyatt family who unfortunately passed away long before his time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also on the front of the hammer was the red circle, which was a big Easter egg to Bray, because Bray always liked to use that red circle in a lot of his cryptic tweets.
Yeah.
Then from there, we got to see Dexter Lumis as the Mercy the Buzzard character, being creepy as always, being so fantastically weird.
Also might have killed multiple people as well. But all of them might have killed multiple people, by the way.
Yeah, like a lot of people were speculating that it was like Gunther and a couple of other people like from that were on the main roster and things like that, and some NXT members.
I think I saw McDonough and Strowman might be one of them.
That was the thing.
Well.
I don't believe that any of them were involved. Like, it looked kind of like it could have been them, but
it was very dark.
A couple of times. Yeah, after watching it back a couple of times, it didn't look like it was them. Like, one of the people it was speculated Triple H was one of them. I was like, nah, there's no way.
There was a moment.
I didn't see them get Triple H.
I swear to God, I thought honestly, there was a moment like A-Train was one of them or something like.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was a lot of things going around that made no sense to me. To me, it looked like a bunch of enhancement talent that they just put in to be extras.
I saw a bunch of. I kind of saw a bunch of little like actual major superstars on there. And but with all the Strowman was definitely there. I believe wasn't Triple. If I don't think that's Triple H, because I don't think Triple H would want to go down like that. That would probably be Tommaso Ciampa, because he got his beard short. He is not as long as he used to be on his videos. But like the one that it feels like they're only focusing on one person though.
Yeah, there was one very clear one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if it were all the people that they said it was, they would have made a bigger deal about it.
Yeah,
to me, it looked like it was more enhancement talent. It was more just people that, like, you know how they do these things. Every security guard is just some guy from an indie promotion in the town that they're in.
Yeah.
Every time they come to New York, there's always people from Warriors that go and they get to be on TV.
No, yeah,
because they're like a background extra in some skit.
Yeah,
I think that's what they were, and that's fine, because then Gable was like the one that they really focused on, because I think he's going to be their first victim. But moving on to,
are we going to lose heel Gable then? Is he going to just go back to Otis and they're going to recreate?
I don't.
No,
trust me, that's not what's happening
coming
there.
up. I'm going to bring up in a second.
I'm sorry.
Moving on from Dexter Lumis, we get to go past the gorilla position and into that hallway. And Joe Gacy was out there with the pig mask on, and that was, very excited to see him back.
Huskus, yeah.
And then obviously we had Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas in the back.
Rotunda.
They all make their way out to the ring, to the top of the stage, and they cut it. One thing I did like to see was, if you noticed, if you look very closely at Bo or Taylor, he grabs the lantern and he says, "We're here." And first off, he's got the biggest smile on his face. He's like smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah.
So you could tell he was excited to do this whole setup.
Yeah.
But one thing I did catch, I didn't catch it until actually like 2 days ago, because someone posted it on TikTok, and I saw it. People that were there live, obviously, it doesn't. When you're watching on TV, it's way darker because they kind of black out the cameras a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you're there, you can see everything that's happening when the lights go out. But even still, what was really cool was, sorry, my cat is trying to catch a bug that's outside the window. I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway, it's outside, stupid. One thing you could see in the live audience was that Bo, after he blows out the lantern, he gives a quick look up, basically saying we did it to Bray. So it was really cool.
It was.
One thing that did happen though was all week leading up to this past week's episode of Raw was ironically enough on the Pat McAfee show. The Wyatt Six kept interrupting the.
Yeah, did they murder Pat? Is that the case? Did they murder him or something?
Implicated. I thought it was being implicated that they kidnapped him, but then he did his show the next day on Tuesday.
Oh, so he was.
So
he's fine.
he did the Pat McAfee show yesterday, so he's fine.
Right, so he's fine.
But I like the implications that they're doing. That it's even extending out onto the Pat McAfee show now. But the big thing that they were doing with Pat McAfee was they were kept cutting the cameras to black, or they would cut stuff on the screen that would say "you lied," things like that. And then this week on Raw, Pat McAfee wasn't there.
No.
The Miz actually was on commentary with Michael Cole pretty much the whole night. The Miz is great. The Miz is fantastic on the mic, so it only makes sense. And obviously you can't have Punk because Drew McIntyre beat every bloody living hell out of him.
Yeah, CM Punk came down with a case of murder as well.
A lot of crime happening these past couple weeks.
Let's give a little shout out to Michael Cole, because there was a point in time where he was doing it for 2 hours by himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to
he was doing
the last half of the show. He was by himself.
Yeah,
and that whole Wyatt situation, he was in the middle of. He was doing, and we need props. He's amazing.
Michael Cole is the GOAT of announcing, especially when he doesn't have Vince screaming in his ear.
Especially during this era. But let's let me.
But Nikki Cross left a box with Michael Cole that was labeled for Pat McAfee, but he opened it anyway. And inside it was a VHS tape, and God bless his soul, this man had to explain what a VHS tape was. And I've never felt older in my life.
We're all old. We're all old.
They sent it back to the production truck, but which for some reason had a VHS player, a VCR, in the production truck, and they played the video. And it was an interview of Uncle Howdy basically grilling Bo Dallas. But honestly, in my opinion, that wasn't Bo. That was Taylor Rotunda being grilled.
Yeah.
I saw that promo.
And that promo was excellent.
That was brilliant.
Oh my god, it was absolutely fantastic.
That's the one where Uncle Howdy says to Taylor, "How did you react when you found out that your brother died?" Right?
Yeah.
That's why I think it's not Bo.
Bringing that up is huge to me. I didn't think they would do that, and they're doing it. So obviously they did it with the family's permission. They, they would do that, and I'm sure it's a sore subject, obviously, for the family. But I think Taylor, as a performer, as well as his father and the rest of their family, understand you can't have the Wyatt Six if you don't bring up Bray's passing.
Well, I can also imagine. I can also imagine that that Taylor is, he's really steering this ship right now, because if there's anybody that's going to understand how Bray would want this done, it would be his brother.
It's him.
Yeah.
And the line that really got me was when Uncle Howdy asked Taylor basically, do you feel that you're stealing his legacy? And he was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just let him become a mausoleum? And I was like, oh my god! I was like, holy shit!
That was deep, man.
And then the whole thing, he went in on it, is no one feels the way I feel about Wyndham passing, because my whole life, all I wanted to do was work with him, and we had it. We were side by side. We were gonna take over the world together, and then it got taken away. And I was like, damn, they really just let him cook on that promo. In my opinion, that was absolutely fantastic promo. And the last thing I really want to talk about, which was like the major point that I'm getting to with Scott, something you brought up with the whole Otis situation, and then Chad Gable. I don't know if we're gonna lose heel Gable as a whole, but maybe just like part of it. Because at one point in the night, Chad Gable did frantically search for Otis and the rest of the Alpha Academy, or the former Alpha Academy. And this whole thing of, he was like apologizing, and he wanted to get everyone back together because they're a family, and this and that. And Maxine made a comment after. So Otis basically said, if you hurt them, referencing to Tozawa and Maxine Dupree, you hurt them, you're no family of mine, and went back inside. Maxine then made a comment to Chad Gable, basically said, he's like, he looked up to you, you were his big brother, and you hurt him. And then she left. And then, like, in my head it clicked. I was like, that's why they're attacking him first. That whole, like, betrayal of family.
That did not click with me.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
great, because that was going to be... That was going to be my first big question of, like, why Chad specifically, because... But
the second
actually,
she called
now
him, she said...
Now that you mention it, this makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, the second she was like, you were his big brother, I was like... like, the light bulb went off.
It's like, that's why they tried to kill him.
Yeah. So, like, they're going to go after people who betrayed their family. Like, first off. So, like, I wouldn't be shocked if they go after Dom at some point.
Dom.
Or Judgment Day as a whole, which would be really cool.
Theoretically, they could go after Jay.
So, this is...
Sammy,
this is
technically...
I wasn't watching the actual...
The Creed brothers showed up at the end of that promo as well to, like, check on Gable.
That's
like, hey, you good? And I'm like, they're going to do the thing!
Yeah, they're going to do the thing. This is going to be Team Gable, but before actually go, Scott, you know what? Why don't you give us your 2 cents on all this?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right,
recap, but go.
This is all right. So we mentioned this earlier in previous podcasts. As people would, if they were listening, I'm a big paranormal fan, and we had this conversation about why they weren't succeeding, and this is exactly what I mean by you don't have to do much to make it different. Just don't copy what was originally done, and it's exactly what they're doing. You can feel the sense of Bray's ideas in there, but as you see each character as they're going, and I hope they continue this. I hope this isn't just because they were all like, do a pose, but their characters that they were playing, they put a little bit of their previous characters in there.
Yeah.
Because Nikki Cross was doing stuff that she would normally do as Nikki Cross. Dexter Lumis was sitting, in a stance that he would sit to be like some creepy dude on the side. So it shows, because I know watching the documentary for a little bit of Bray Wyatt, there was a big struggle with him just completely blocking everybody's ideas out. And I think it's great. It's going to help it make it better, knowing that you're putting other people's ideas to try to maximize it. But of course, if you can change it, but not to the point where it gets rid of that vibe of what Bray Wyatt did, then you should take an attempt at it. And going farther into it, that was crazy. I never seen anything like what they were doing. All that destruction throughout the entire area, backstage area. It was just mind blowing.
Yeah,
they really went really hard into this.
Yeah, they've technically been on TV for like 10 minutes, and they already got like a 20-person body count.
Even.
So like,
I think the entirety of their TV time has been less than 5 minutes.
and they already
I can't
like
believe
killed
WWE snuff filmed you guys.
That's basically what this was.
And hopefully, Uncle Howdy's a split personality character, and we get a lot more of these interviews
I think that's
between the
what
two, which I think you probably will.
Because I think that's what they were kind of hinting at originally.
You think that you know what I would love to see, honestly? I don't know how they would make it work, but like I think you could make it work. Uncle Howdy is just interviewing all of them.
Yeah.
Like you did it with Taylor this
for when they first debuted the Uncle Howdy character with Bray.
Yeah, like you did it with Taylor. You did it with Taylor
Yeah.
first. Next week should be. I mean, obviously it should be Eric. I would imagine.
Yeah, Eric Rowan.
Or Nikki.
Like, nah, start with Eric Rowan.
Nah, Eric.
The only two that I don't think that I would fully understand is Dexter and Joe,
And Gacy, yeah.
because
But, I mean,
I don't think
it's
Bray
also a
really
matter
interacted
of-
with either of them. So
They never really interacted with them, but there was always like comparisons.
I guess so.
Oh, and
Because like a lot of
I
people
meant-
compare Joe Gacy to Bray Wyatt.
They
and-
tried
Okay,
with
so-
him.
Yeah, they tried, but like he was also trying to be different. You know, he was trying
I
to
wanna-
be creepy, but not that way. Like he was going more for like the serial killer like kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so was Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis was going for like that like kind of
Well, he was
silent, crazy type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like Gacy was going for like the like a Ted Bundy kind of.
something like that,
Vibe.
but also along the lines
You know?
of like almost like a cult leader, almost because with
Yeah,
Schism.
that's what I'm saying.
Here's my take on here's my take on all of this. This was done. This was done perfectly in my mind.
I agree.
The costumes are incredible. The fact that there was no music, just that one piano key the entire time.
Very John Carpenter.
Very John Carpenter-esque. The smoke, the lighting, the just slow tracking throughout the entire thing. I'm a film person, by the way, people. So I'm like a giant nerd when it comes to this stuff. But like everything about this was just it was just incredible to me. It was, and then I look at that interview, and my God, man, Taylor, my God, man.
Yeah.
He's
I
been
mean,
sitting on this for a while. The man has been cooking with this.
Yeah.
And
To piggyback on what you were saying, Cap, one thing I did really like with the camera thing is like it felt more like that first initial debut felt more of like a found footage, like kind of shit, instead of like this is a camera. Let's treat it like a camera, like it doesn't exist. Like most other, like the camera's not here, or like most backstage segments. But this was more like, hey, this is the POV
of
a cameraman like capturing all this fucking carnage and chaos.
Like especially if you're watching it on TV, this is you.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is you. She's pointing for you to go and look at them.
Yeah, the point. Like go look what we did.
Francis, what is your take?
I'm into it. I'm very much intrigued. All the build-up we've been seeing for Uncle Howdy over the past couple months at this point has definitely caught my attention.
Months of QR
multiple months of building up to this. Uncle Howdy himself looks really great. I dig the kind of sort of Phantom of the Opera mask they gave Taylor.
Yeah, they fixed the mask.
They look like Resident Evil villains.
Yeah, so like the thing is with the mask, one thing I did notice, because like this one is more just covering the top of his face instead of the whole face.
Yeah.
Because I feel like originally, I don't know if Bo was supposed to be Uncle Howdy.
No, I think that was always the thing, that he was going to be playing the character. You just weren't technically supposed to know it was Bo, I guess.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be its own thing. It wasn't supposed to be Bo Dallas. It was supposed to be like granted, we all knew the second we saw the two of them in the ring together. I'm like, that's Bo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I know Bray did all the vignettes. Like, anytime we saw a vignette of Uncle Howdy, it was Bray.
Yeah.
You know, it was Wyndham in the mask, in the costume, doing the talking. But, like, when they had the lights, glowing the fucking Mountain Dew, glow in the dark bullshit match, it was Bo.
Yeah.
You could see it. It was Taylor. And, like, people had found out at that point that Taylor had been re-signed by the WWE. And, like, we were going to get them working together. And, like, you could tell, like, kind of looking at it, you could see when they did that pose at the end of the debut, you could see, like, the spot where Bray would have been standing.
Might have been
There
on
was
purpose.
a slight empty spot right in the top right of the screen where you could tell that would have been Bray as his new Fiend look. Because, like, if you watch the documentary, you could see that I can't remember his name for the life of me. The guy that makes all his masks and stuff.
Tom Savini.
Yeah, thank you. He had shared that, and he's like, hey, look, this is the new Fiend that was supposed to come.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you could tell, like, it was supposed to be right there. It was like, Uncle Howdy's, like, really running the show, but, like, he's the one that unleashed the Fiend in the first place.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, he's the real ringmaster of the whole thing. But either way, I still think this is really, really cool.
I absolutely agree.
So I have to call out two people about this subject. That one of them, I have to call out on two people because I read two comments. If I don't quote the comments to exact description, forgive me. I don't care. First, I'm going to call out
Let's
Mark
do this
Henry
right real quick.
and-
Time for a Scott take, folks.
No, I don't know if this is exactly a Scott take. I think I know where he's going. But
I know where he is.
First
It's
one
not
is
controversial.
I was going to say just Mark Henry, but then apparently Bubba was a part of it too, and he was agreeing, apparently, right?
Yeah.
If I have that right.
I believe
First things first, commenting on the fact that they weren't in character and the fact they wanted to go to Whataburger to go to after spending so much money on the production. What the fuck does that matter? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, you do. I hate to be this person, but it is fake. Like, to an extent, there is. I know people see it's fake when I say no. Yeah, it's not fake, but it is also fake. It's both.
We don't use that word.
You have to understand which is real and which isn't. And obviously, they're not gonna how are they gonna act? They're gonna scare the entire. Like, what if it was like fans that weren't as strong-willed like that, and who gets pretty freaked out when people act
What
like
if it were
tough on
people
them,
that weren't at the
and like
show?
they want to meet the people. Yeah, and they were just meeting them, and they were like, "Oh, hi." I'm like, and then
God
second of
forbid
all,
they did something nice for a fan. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you play a character, but I want to meet the person. I don't want to meet the character. If
Yeah,
I want to
and
meet the
also,
character,
like-
I can just sit and watch TV.
I mean, also, like,
Exactly.
low key, this is a public restaurant. What if there were people that weren't at the show that were in that restaurant? Like,
Yeah. Maybe
now
they didn't
you're
want
just
riot.
scaring the shit out of civilians. Like,
Not even that. It's like,
And-
here's my thing. Because I get where they're coming from, like where Mark Henry and Bubba were coming from, because they come from a different era of pro wrestling. They come from the era where, they didn't have the internet, you didn't have the dirt sheets like we do now. You didn't have people analyzing wrestling the way they do now, where it's like everything is known. Like, we know The Undertaker is Mark Calloway. And we know that he's not really an undead,
man's got a YouTube channel, for the love of God.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, kayfabe isn't what it used to be. And, like, yes, it sucks, but at the same time, it's reality. It's like, we understand, yes, this is entertainment. This isn't just, back in the 80s and the early 90s, Undertaker talks about it all the time. He never broke character until he really retired. He was never seen in public out of character. He was, him and Paul Bearer were always like that. That's the whole reason the American Badass became a thing. It was so he could go out in public and ride his motorcycle without being like, that's what the Undertaker's really like, because then that's what he was on TV. So he could just be himself, and like, but now it's like not that deep. It doesn't matter. Like, God forbid people wanted to go eat after they just did something really fucking cool. And like, they did something nice for the fan,
And this is kind of like an old man moment. But you don't like it's kind of an old man moment. It's kind of a stupid ass moment because you're currently doing it right now, and it's the fact that you're on a social platform in which you share, in which certain platforms have people showing their real life person. Like we realized Seth Rollins, didn't know is a fancy coffee drinker. You find out when you follow his page, like I have on Instagram. Exactly. But he doesn't act like that in the wrestling ring. You're not gonna always. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to act like your character when you have eyes on you
all the fucking time. Yeah, like
all
can you
the
imagine
time.
If Steph went to fucking, I would say Starbucks, but he has mentioned on multiple occasions that he hates Starbucks. But like, could you imagine if he fucking walked into like a pizzeria somewhere dressed the way he does when he goes to the ring? He'd get fucking murdered.
I was gonna say it's important.
Like here, here's my take on all.
Be all anymore.
Here's my take on all this. Yes, while I understand that Mark Henry and Bubba Ray and Undertaker, all those dudes, they all they come from a different era where kayfabe really mattered and things like that. Well, I understand it. However, I'm just going to be honest with you. They're wrong.
I agree.
Well, they're not entirely. There are some to an extent. You could still have some semblance of your character. With the Wyatt 6, you can't do that, man. You just can't do that. Listen,
Taylor as Uncle Howdy trying to make a bank statement.
Like, listen. You can't do that with these people because number one, they wouldn't be able to function outside of wrestling. Then,
no.
Like, what are you gonna do? Have Joe Gacy in the pig mask go to a butcher shop? Like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And number two,
there's like a healthy medium.
And number
Sorry
two,
to cut
like,
you off.
It's perfectly fine. But like, and number two, it doesn't just because like it's not how it was back then. That don't mean it's bad, man. Like, if anything, seeing these glimpses of what they are like as people, it personally, the way I feel, it makes it better in some cases because let's say for a minute that like you are a Seth Rollins fan. And now you look on his Instagram or something like that, and you're like, oh, he's a fancy coffee drinker. Oh, shit, I'm a fancy coffee drinker, too. So now I'm more of a fan of him, because now we got something in common. And something like that, and stuff like that, man. That draws a closer connection to fans that,
I agree.
Now, like, I'm gonna want to see you even more because now I know you got something in common with me and things like that. Motorcycle heads had more in common with the Undertaker when he was the American Badass. Like, I'm sure there were some that felt like they got more in common with him now.
You get to see this side of them that you wouldn't normally see on TV.
You get to see what they're like as people.
Relatable. You see, like, oh, they are just normal people like me.
Yeah, you get to see what they're like as people, and unless you're like a complete asshole or something like that, people are gonna like you more.
Exactly.
Alright, so number 2, because that was a little hard, as crazy as that will sound, that was a little hard trying to go and calling them out. But this one's not really, because I always thought he was an idiot talking about another idiot. But Jim Cornette, and the fact that he says, oh, this is the best thing for AEW since Triple H took over, because this is ultimately going to fail, or some BS that he said like that. Like, I'm not even to mention the Wyatt. I'm not going to mention his comment on the Wyatt 6 failing, because that just started. that's a comment that a lot of people made. I'm just gonna mention the fact, like, are you watching WWE right now? Do you not see? And we can probably switch over to the next subject when we talk about this. Do you not see the fact that they're crossing the 2 million mark?
Yeah, I mentioned that Raw
on
passed
Raw
2 million
and SmackDown,
viewers.
and give or take that the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7 from a 3-0 deficit.
Yeah,
and the fact that they still hit over 2. Yeah, only the second one of its kind.
Also, side note, congratulations to the Florida Panthers on their first ever Stanley Cup victory. They got that nice, shiny Stanley Cup championship belt from Triple H, I believe, this morning or yesterday morning.
I'm a Rangers fan, so
are you just
saying that?
And it's like,
I know you're a Rangers fan and you're salty, but get over it.
Are you just like
still
blind?
Be happy for a team that won a championship?
But are you just like blinded to what's going on? The fact that AEW has been struggling, and the fact that WWE is restoring back to its original ways, and we're not even starting because we still have next year when things get even more intense.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even bother listening to Cornette anymore because it's like half the time all he gives a fuck about is like spot matches. Like all he cares about is like, oh, how many super kicks did they do? 17, 5 stars.
Jim Cornette is the perfect example of an old man yelling at a cloud at this point. Like,
and this petty feud. Sorry, Cap, to interrupt you, but this petty feud that he has with Anthony Russo. I understand that he ruined something that you were a part of that really closely, that you loved, and I know that he ruined it, but guess what? It doesn't take one person to ruin something. The fact that it failed knows that you had something to do with it too. The fact that you were blinded by something. Like, the fall wasn't just because of one person. There was multiple factors, and you didn't help at all either. And all you did was blame and point fingers. So you're not clean out of this too.
Listen, I don't think like I'm saying anything controversial here, but like, you know, Jim Cornette can just shut the hell up. In all honesty, like he is the perfect example of an old man yelling at a cloud. So like he's the textbook example of that. If you look up the picture of an old man yelling at a cloud, shit, it kind of looks like Jim.
It's just Cornette yelling at WWE.
Yeah, of course, but like, it's ridiculous.
But on a side note, similar, obviously same topic that we're talking about here. I did want to reference something I saw. Rey Mysterio was doing an interview not that long ago, and I forgot exactly who it was with, and I'm sorry, but I do remember I saw a clip of it on TikTok that I really liked, and like going back to like having the happy medium of kayfabe. Like, I feel like there's certain things that should still be a thing with kayfabe, and certain things that doesn't need to be. But one of the things is like heels and baby faces should not be seen interacting, even if they're family. Like Ray had mentioned on this interview that, you know, when Dom was breaking into the industry and this and that, and like when he first turned heel, he told him, he goes like, listen, he's like, if we're in public, like we got to keep it legit, like we got to keep it professional and do our thing. He's like, you know, if, you know, I'm at a restaurant after an episode of Monday Night Raw and Dom walks in, he won't even talk to me, he won't reference me, you know, this and that. But like when we're at home, he's like, obviously, you know, he's still my son and we still talk and like do this and that. And I'm like, see, like, but that makes sense. You know, you don't want to kill the mystique to the fans to that level. But like, obviously, you know, these supernatural, obviously they're not supernatural fucking beings. You know, obviously Kane wasn't from hell. But like this whole thing of certain things, like you don't want to see like people, like two people that are in a feud, you don't want to see them having dinner together. That really just kills it all.
So yeah, I suppose so, man, but
like that's what I mean by like a happy medium there. Like there
are ways that you can get around it, but there's just like certain times that like people just need to like calm the fuck down when it comes to this stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like obviously, like, you know, they had this major debut. God forbid they wanted to go eat fucking Whataburger. Oh no, what a tragedy. They're real people. They need to eat food.
More importantly, God forbid they took a photo with a fan or something like that.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But like, to that like level of like, that's what I'm saying. Like the healthy medium of kayfabe is like you still want to keep like the feud. Kind of like, I'm not saying like they have to murder each other like if they see each other on the street by accident.
Yeah. If anything, I think if anything, I would have liked to see this just because I think it would have made it for a cooler picture. Well, at least like have them having them wear the masks or something at least, just because I think that would be a cooler picture. But like,
they probably don't have them with them.
Yeah.
You know, it probably stays in their production.
I'm not agreeing with anybody here. I just think it'd be a cool photo, but.
It would be a cool photo, but like who knows if they they might not travel with it, or maybe it was back in the hotel room.
There's probably a million reasons.
Because obviously they were all in street clothes. They had washed all the makeup off and things like that.
Yeah, there's probably like a million reasons why.
A couple of them were wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, no. But yeah, folks. Anyway, look, the Wyatt 6 are here. And they've had maybe a combined 10 minutes of television time, and they have used those 10 minutes perfectly.
Very well.
Perfectly.
Can I say one thing about the Wyatt 6?
Go right ahead, Francis.
Yeah. I have a slight fan theory on Uncle Howdy's whole deal. I believe that Taylor created they're going to retcon that Taylor created the Uncle Howdy persona as a way of dealing with Bray's death. Like Uncle Howdy.
I don't think they could do that because Uncle Howdy showed up before Bray died.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I said it was a retcon. It was just an idea.
Anyway. Moving from one family to another. By the way, Scott mentioned it before, SmackDown also reached over 2 million in viewership, and that was in competition with a Stanley Cup Finals match, or a hockey match.
That was Monday.
There wasn't one on Friday?
Raw was
Friday.
God damn it, Scott, you're making me give misinformation on my own show. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
My fault. It's whatever company did it to me.
I think Game 6 was on Friday, but Game 7 was...
Alright, well, still, there was a Stanley Cup Finals match happening at the same time of SmackDown, and it still hit over 2 million views. And one of those reasons may be because... It could be because of CM Punk making an appearance on the show, and then coming down with a case of murder at the hands of Drew McIntyre.
Case of death. It is a sudden case of death.
Which, low key, he might have deserved just a little bit, but that's a conversation for another show.
I think he kind of pushed the button a little too far.
Yeah, that's a conversation for a later episode. But low key, I love you, Punk, but you kind of had that coming to you.
You cost me the Classel prediction, you bastard.
Cash at the Classel?
Fuck, I was hoping no one noticed that.
Everybody noticed. And it's on the internet now.
I love you, man. You made me get 2 points in a 2-point differential in the prediction bracket.
Down boot him. But anyway, another reason might be because, wake up, guys, a new Samoan just dropped. Anyway, there is a new Bloodline member who made the assist on Friday night for Solo, and that is the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
Such a metal name.
When I tell you, I now understand why they were so scared of bringing this guy on television, because he immediately outshined Solo, man.
Bro, he made Solo look like a fucking goober.
Like an infinite geed.
In my mind, this is the guy who should have been the enforcer the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is Solo doing as the enforcer spot when you've had this guy in your family the whole time?
I mean, that's the whole thing, though, but this dude is a fucking wild card. Like
I showed Francis this earlier this week, but there was a tweet sent out by Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, on the indie scene known as Killer Kross. The psychotic serial killer badass and stuff like that. And he mentioned in this tweet that, like, I have wrestled Jacob Fatu for 10 years all across the world. And the only thing I can tell SmackDown right now is they are in deep shit.
Yeah. And what makes me laugh is I've met both of them working indie shows as a referee, and they are both the nicest fucking people.
Yeah, but maybe that's true, but specifically when it comes to Jacob, at least character-wise, oh my god.
He's a fucking lunatic.
This man is crazy.
Yeah, one moment that made me chuckle. I remember working a Warrior show as a referee, and it wasn't my match to ref, so I was backstage at like the gorilla position, and he was working a match with a couple of other people. I think he was doing like a triple threat match or something, and whoever was doing the audio played the wrong song. They played one of the other Fatu songs. Because there's like a million fucking members in this family. Played the wrong song, and he goes, "Well, that's my cousin's song." Yeah, but fuck it. He just went out anyway. He's like, "I know it's meant for me."
Oh man!
And I was like, "That's so fucking funny." Like, he didn't make a big deal about it. He just went out and did his thing.
Yeah.
But it just makes me chuckle because, like, damn, he couldn't even get the right song, but he was like really chill about it.
Yeah. So Dom, it's interesting that you mentioned this, man. So it seems like you've up close and personal got to see this man at work. So for any of the viewers who are not familiar with Jacob Fatu, man, like what are we in for with this guy?
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 10 of pure insanity and possibilities, this dude's at a 12.
Oh fuck!
Like, you never know what the fuck this dude is gonna pull out of his pocket when it comes to like spots and like things. Like, he's a very creative and smart wrestler. Like, he knows his shit. So it's like, I'm excited to see like the matches that they're gonna have, and like, this whole bloodline. I still think we're gonna do like a bloodline versus bloodline thing because Roman's gonna come back as a babyface.
It's interesting who's gonna be the fourth guy now. So
I mean, it'll be the Usos and Sami Zayn and Roman, and then you have Solo, Gorillas of Destiny, and Jacob Fatu. Now, if they really wanted to do like a 5-on-5, like a War Games type thing, like, for the faces, I have no idea, but for the heels, like, it's very easy. They could just pull in The Rock again, and like, if The Rock wants to work a War Games match,
there might be that might be a possibility, but here's my.
He can do it.
I believe he could.
I'm gonna further.
It's a matter of if he wants to.
I just want to further this point though, man. I've only seen a little bit of Jacob Fatu like online and stuff like that, but I saw this man make his debut, and oh my lord, like,
oh yeah,
this man is crazy. This dude's crazy. He came out of nowhere. He's
gonna be really interesting too.
He came out of nowhere. He's like snarling, and he's got this like this insane look in his eye. Corey Graves is mentioning on commentary that this dude is like the one member of the family that the same members of the family want nothing to do with. There was a period on
they lock in the attic whenever company.
Yeah, there was this is the guy you don't even want at the family party. like this guy. Even somebody mentioned it on Instagram too that even the Gorillas were like not sure that they wanted him around. Like they looked like they didn't even know that he was gonna show up, and they don't even look like they trust him that much. And poor Paul Heyman.
The dude's a wild card. He could fucking turn around and be like, "Nah, y'all thought I was here for you. Fuck that. I'm here for Roman." He could turn around and just be like, "I work for him."
And like
at any moment, and it would.
Yeah, and then turn around and be like, "Nah, I worked for you just so I could kill you myself." Like,
yeah, like, I just wanted you comfortable.
I wanted you comfortable, boy. Like,
that's right, motherfuckers. I scar-faced your asses.
But like, and then there's like on ringside, there's poor Paul Heyman. Like, my God, this poor man, this poor man. Oh no. Like,
he's just waiting for the day that Roman Reigns comes back so he can just run.
He's running for his life the second that happens. But there's some.
He makes it so believable, like that he's like in serious danger.
Well, here's another thing that it would actually be very interesting if they brought this up. But so technically there is an issue with Jacob right off the bat that because of his previous criminal record, his real life criminal record this man has, he might not be able to fly internationally to certain countries.
No.
And
that'll have to be something.
While it might be a hindrance, they could also use that. It's like, that's how fucking crazy this guy is. We couldn't even get him into the country.
We weren't allowed to bring him.
We can't even bring him across state lines because this man, this dude is that nuts. Like,
this guy can only wrestle in international waters.
Yeah, no, but that's like a thing because like WWE might be able to like make agreements with certain.
Yeah, I'm sure they can figure out the legalities. Because
they did it for the Usos with their DUIs.
Yeah, I'm sure that they can figure out, some way. But like, to be honest with you, I kind of want to see them dive deeper into that. Like,
yeah, I would like to
like the next Saudi Arabia show be like, I can't even bring Jacob because of what he did.
He's not allowed to be here.
Like, he can't even be here. I mean, they kind of did that with Tonga. With Tonga Loa, so but I'm very excited about this, man. I know not a lot of people have been feeling Bloodline 2.0, but now that Jacob's here, consider me interested.
I was really only interested just to see like where they were going with it because like I still have a feeling it's gonna wind up being like heel Bloodline versus face Bloodline kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because like Roman's gonna come back and then Solo's gonna be like, nah, I don't care that you're back. I'm still the tribal chief, and he'll be like, no, you ain't. That kind of whole thing.
Scott Bash, what is your take on all this, man?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered it all. It's just, it's really great knowing that they can continue this Bloodline story, and while Roman is not there to help continue it with the issues he's dealing with. And I heard you guys were talking about rumors, and there was one funny rumor like way out there. But like, what if they can't find the fourth member? So Paul Heyman has a connection and Brock Lesnar shows up.
Oh God!
I doubt that.
And then I was like, we need a fourth member. All right, well, how about I get Brock Lesnar in here? But that's like never gonna. That's not gonna happen. CM Punk's more likely to go in there.
Maybe Punk.
And even then, it's a hard.
Yeah. Francis, what about you? The Samoan Werewolf has been unleashed on SmackDown.
Oh, it's great.
That's your take.
Oh, it's great. Just like, please have him be the last one. I feel like if he had a poster of the current SmackDown roster and he would dart at it, 9 times out of 10 you're going to hit a Bloodline member.
At this point, yeah.
But also, let's be perfectly honest, he is not the last one. While I agree to a certain extent,
right now, but there was a picture that was going around on social media, and it was basically here it is. So the amount of kids that the members of the Bloodline have.
Oh God, you showed me this one, God.
Yeah.
Roman has 5 kids. Solo has 3. Jay has 2. Tonga Loa has 2. Tama Tonga has 3.
Jacob has 7.
Jacob has 7. Rikishi has 5, and
Jimmy also
did
has
I say
2,
both Usos? Yeah, Jimmy has 2 kids.
Jimmy
as well.
has 2 as well.
So the thing is, it truly is the fucking. I hate that I'm bringing this back. It truly is the never-ending story.
No,
because it's gonna
they can just do this forever.
For fucking generations that they could just keep going with this fucking bloodline.
Bro, you don't
because
even
they'll just like there's so many.
Dom, you don't even
wrestling.
Damn, Dom, you don't even have to count like their children.
Can fail.
Dom, you don't even have to count their children.
WWE can fail, guys.
Hold on, Scott. Like,
stop talking about this.
Dom, you don't even have to count
I
their
figured
children.
out how to. Yeah.
Oh my God! One at a time. Cap.
Okay, Dom, you don't even have to count their children. There are still 2 other members. There might be 2 other guys in the Gorilla's other brother, Hikuleo, in Japan. The sources, there have been some sources saying that the man's looking to trademark a name, a Tonga name. Gee, I wonder why he'd be doing that.
Isn't that part of a song, Hikuleo?
No, that's his stage name in Japan right now. But
No,
not
but
only
I
that,
figured
but
out.
not only
I figured out that WWE can fail, and if they just wise up and they just create an entire company on the island, the Samoan Wrestling Organization, they would destroy WWE. And it would just go bankrupt because everybody would watch that instead.
Not even that, because half their talent would leave.
Yeah, half their talent's in Hawaii at this point. But listen, man, these are obviously, some of these are jokes. There is a lot of you people though, so like
there's a lot of us. Hey.
What do you
get a little hot in here?
And Hawaii, that's what I mean, you dumbasses. Also, we can't be making jokes like that on my show. So
there's a lot of the same family in the WWE because they all get into wrestling and they all descended from the same person, basically.
Yeah.
In some way or another, they're all related to High Chief Maivia.
In some way or another, yes.
Which is wild.
So there is a lot of these people. They seem to just have a consistent flow of people that want to come into the business. That being said, though, I am very interested to see where this bloodline story goes, man, and I'm incredibly excited that Jacob Fatu is in WWE right now. Man, the man looked like the man looked like money. And now I see why you were all scared of him outshining Solo, because he did it almost instantly. He did it almost instantly.
But yeah. So Cap, I'm so glad that you brought up someone who's finally in WWE, because I believe we can now talk about someone else who is finally in the WWE.
And who would
Francis,
that be,
you
Dom?
know who I'm talking about.
Who would that be, Dom? Say his name.
The man who has descended upon us to impart justice and heroism in all of our lives.
Joe Hendry.
I was about to say. Somebody say his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Oh my god, dude, the fucking pop he got.
I think
so.
Honestly,
we want to talk about
the biggest pop I've ever heard on NXT.
So we want to talk about maxing out limited television time. Wyatt 6 did it. They've had maybe 10 minutes of total TV time in the past 2 weeks. Jacob Fatu did it. Jacob Fatu did it. And he had maybe 5 on screen. Joe Hendry was on NXT for the 25-man over-the-top rope battle royal. If you didn't see our TikTok on it, you should check us out on TikTok to Push Wrestling, by the way.
Nice plug.
Joe Hendry debuted in NXT. And as quickly as the man appeared, he disappeared.
And he still made Wyatt numbers.
He was in NXT for 30 seconds. I don't think this man threw a punch. And within that 30 seconds, he is not only beyond over with the crowd. Not only is he beyond over with them, but he has now reached the most. I think he's reached it by now. If not, he will soon. The most views on YouTube since WrestleMania. The most viewed. Think about everything that has happened since WrestleMania. You know, think about all the moments that have happened. Joe Hendry had 30 seconds of TV time in NXT. In NXT, of all places, and he is now reaching the most views they've had since WrestleMania.
Yeah. I know, and I do like that they continued their the feud with Kazarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Kazarian was also there from TNA, but let's keep it on Joe right now, man. Guys, I have been watching wrestling for the better part of 20 years now. Been watching ever since I was 7 years old.
Nerd.
Or at least that's as long as I can remember. That's as long as I can remember watching it. I don't think I have ever seen a man just skyrocket. A man or one. I have never seen a wrestler, period, just skyrocket into the stratosphere the way that Joe Hendry has with wrestling fans, man. This is
on TikTok. It's not just wrestling fans. I mean, it is mostly wrestling fans, but like a really popular thing on TikTok is like people saying, "Why is my partner singing about this Joe Hendry guy?
Yeah,
and why am I singing along with him?"
The dude's a meme. He's really is, but he made it work for him because now he's like one of the most popular wrestlers
in the world.
Ever.
In the world,
because like whether you watch wrestling or not, a lot of people know the name Joe Hendry because either they know the memes, they know the jokes, or they know him as a wrestler,
or all of the above.
Yeah, or they find him because of the meme and become wrestling fans for Joe Hendry.
Like it's just insane to see, man. Because like, I'm gonna be honest. I'll say it here because I didn't get to say it on the TikTok that I made. I was damn near furious with NXT that he was the first guy eliminated. Like you cannot have a reaction like that.
I think they were testing the waters to see how they would react.
And my God,
WWE was afraid. They didn't want to give him too much ring time if he was gonna not get a pop.
Oh, he got a pop. He didn't just get a pop. He got an explosion. Like
no, for real. I think he got like the biggest pop I've ever heard on NXT. But one thing I did like that they did was after the match, I think it was like a digital exclusive thing. So it was like one of the things that only the social medias got to see. It wasn't like on NXT television. Was Joe Hendry went backstage after he was eliminated, went to the gorilla position and found Shawn Michaels and told Shawn Michaels, that's ridiculous. You did that on purpose. Like you told them to attack me on purpose, and this and that, so I wouldn't last, and I got eliminated right away. He's like, but don't forget, I could show up at anywhere and any time, and all you have to do is say my name. And then he walked off. So like, it kind of implies that he might be back.
Oh, you have to bring him back at this point. You have to bring him back.
The dude's an instant ratings pop for you.
You can't sit there and tell me that you cannot sit there as an executive and tell me that you saw a pop like that and you're not going to capitalize on it. You cannot sit there, not in this day and age, not in Triple H's WWE.
I agree with Francis, though. I think he will wind up being in the Royal Rumble this year.
Oh, he is. And can you imagine the pop that an entire baseball stadium full
They're
of
gonna
people.
sing the fucking song.
They will sing the song, and then the clapping.
Yeah.
That's going to be tens
So
of thousands.
I was totally wrong when I said take it easy and don't make them pop up and just make it a rare occurrence. Like, he definitely needs to get on more.
Yeah.
As
I
for
think TNA in general needs
as
to
for
get on.
Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if TNA should cross that barrier. I feel like they're perfectly fine in NXT. I don't feel like they should move at all.
But
They've
they've
already
already
done it, though.
popped up on.
They've already
yeah,
done
they've
it.
been doing it. Mickey James showed up as the
Jordan
Knockouts
Grace,
champion.
like,
Jordan Grace showed up as the
Yeah.
Knockouts champion. You know, they've mainly only done it for the women. They really haven't done it for the men. But I mean, Mickey James made sense at the time because, you know, a former WWE superstar, but it was really cool, like, letting her show up with her TNA music and the Knockouts championship, and this and that, and referencing her as the Knockouts champion.
yeah.
So, but it's like, oh, you know, they
Yeah.
did that because she's a legend, like a WWE legend. But then, like, this past year, we had Jordan Grace, and it's like, oh, shit.
It's like, oh,
And like I think
this
that
is
was
real.
the start of it, but like,
Like, this
she
is real,
really
this is
happening.
talk about maximizing your minutes. Like
At
Jordan
that
Grace.
moment, I don't think any of us thought that we would be getting what we're getting right now.
No,
Like
not
when
at
she
all. But
appeared
it-
on the Royal Rumble, we just thought that, oh, this is our. We usually get a crazy Royal Rumble entrance,
like this
and
is
this
our,
is the
our
crazy
surprise.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
this
didn't
is our
think that was
surprise
going to
entrance.
lead to this.
To be honest,
I did
this
not think that was them testing the waters, but like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
and not only that, but to be honest with you, in some cases, this is better. In my mind,
I agree.
this is
I
better.
like that they're working with other companies.
I'm gonna share a very
Right.
personal story here. Like, I was watching the Royal Rumble with my girlfriend that night, and she heard Jordan Grace. She saw that Jordan Grace was in the Royal Rumble. She flipped out, man. Now I'll say it. She marked out, man. Like she is a massive fan of Jordan Grace, and to see her in the Royal Rumble, man, that was like that might have been her favorite part of the night. I ain't gonna lie to you. So
I mean, like I said, like she really, like Jordan Grace really maximized her minutes, and like
yeah, so for somebody like Jordan Grace, who, you know, despite her very obvious popularity, there aren't a lot of people that know about Jordan.
well, because you know what it is. I think, unfortunately, it's because a lot of eyes really aren't on TNA like that.
Yeah,
You know, some people really watch TNA, but like I'll be honest, I really don't. You know,
I've
The
seen
way
I've
out
seen
of
some
hell,
parts.
but, like,
I
you know.
have seen some TNA, but
I see clips of TNA. I don't like.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I don't have fucking cable.
Yeah, but
so I
this-
can't really watch a lot of
Yeah.
this stuff.
yeah, but
But
I'm gonna be honest with
free
you.
on
This
Roku
is
if you have
nothing
that.
but beneficial to TNA. Like,
Absolutely,
this is
because
nothing
they'll
but
get them
beneficial
more
to them.
ratings.
But like, if she was able to get a pop like that, and not a lot of people know about Jordan Grace, you know, not a lot of like more casual fans know about Jordan Grace, but she still got a pop like that, and you know, she still got the fan reactions that she did. Imagine
That's what I'm saying. Imagine what
the
happens when you get the
nuclear-
more known people going.
the
Yeah, so
nuclear
whenever the Top
levels.
Dollar comes back.
Oh God!
Yeah, forget about Top Dollar. I'm talking about the real
Why,
Top
so
Dollar here.
Michael
I'm talking
Cole
about
can
Joe
fucking
Hendry.
end his life?
Yeah.
Michael Cole shitted on that dude's life so
he
hard
deserved
he
it.
left.
He deserved it. He deserved it, though. But
That's not the point.
anyway,
You don't expect that from Michael Cole. You expect that from Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you got to pop out and show individuals.
Corey
like,
Graves.
I understood that reference, Cat.
thank you, Francis.
Thank you, Captain America.
But anyway, yeah, that's really it. That's gonna be it for this episode, folks. Do be sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok at The Push Wrestling. And if you hear our show and you like what we do here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We do weekly shows, we do weekly episodes, we're doing reviews, predictions. We're trying not to kill Francis. Like, It's a fun time.
Do anything in this episode, you eat a kiss?
It's a fun time. It's a fun time, folks. It's a fun time. So please consider liking the video, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. But for all of us here at The Push, my name is Cap.
I'm Dom.
Stop Ash.
Cap is still a geed.
Ring that bell for me, Dom.